Hi everybody, I'm going to do a demonstration on how to do part of the lab on 1.4.7, the packet tracer, configuring your router interfaces. Just to give you an idea of, so you can see the interfaces of a router, because unfortunately we can't be in-house to do it. Open up my packet tracer, I've logged in. I'm going to change this from guest to myself. This way it'll save it all as me. I'm going to go ahead and choose yes to reset the activity, so we're good to go. Now, I'm going to configure router 1. You see right now I'm completed 0%. Go ahead and minimize that. I've printed it out anyway. So on router 1, select the router, come over to CLI for the command line interface. Select in the screen here so you can hit your enter key. It says right on your sheet there the password is Cisco, and then to get into what we call privileged exec mode, we type in enable, and we type in the password, which is class. You'll notice my prompt has changed to a pound sign, and that means I'm in privileged exec mode, which means I can view a little bit more. Now I want to make some changes to my router, so I want to get into configure terminal. So I want to configure this terminal. And you'll see my router prompt has changed again from R1 to config and then to pound. The first one in router 1 that it wants me to do is to go in and make a change to the G0/0 interface, okay, which is either this one or this one, okay, and we can find that out simply by programming, and then you'll see it turn on, or we could actually, if we close out this window of R1 and we put our mouse over top, you'll see this is G00 and this is G01, okay? So let's go back into our configuration here, and I want to get into the interface. I'm in configuration mode. I'm going to type in interface G0/0, and then I want to add an IP address. I'm going to do IP address, and it is 172.16.20.1. Every IP address must be paired with a subnet mask. Now it has a /25, and we haven't really gotten into that yet. So I want you to understand that by default, it would be a 255.255.0, which gives me 16 bits, but we have 25 bits, so it's going to be 255.255.255.128. Hit enter. Okay, then do no shutdown. Okay, so no shutdown means bring it up, and you can see that right now this link is up. Okay, it turned green. Hit my enter key again. I want to get into the interface of G0/1, so I just type that in, and I'm going to do an IP address, and I'm going to put it on 172.16.20.129. Must be paired with a subnet mask. It also has a subnet mask of 255.255.255.128. Okay, you'll see also right now that the line is still down. I'm going to do a no shutdown command. And you'll see my router interface just came up on that one. The next thing it wants me to do is put PC1 on this network. So I select PC1, I click my desktop tab, I click IP configuration, and I'm going to statically assign 172.16.20.225, I'm sorry, no, .10. It must be paired to subnet mask. It puts a default in there, which is not going to work for me. I need a 255.128. And my default gateway has to be my router, which is 172.16.20.1. And it doesn't ask me for a DNS. I can close out of that. So now my PC should be able to communicate all the way up to here. The next thing it wants me to do on my router is to get into the interface of S0/0/0. And it wants me to put an IP address of that one as 209.165.200.225. It has a subnet mask of 30, so that is a 255.255.255.252. And I'll do a no shutdown there. Now you'll notice that the line, okay, came up here because I'm not programming the cloud, okay? So now router 1 is configured, PC 1 is configured. Let's go ahead and configure PC 2 to knock it out of the way. And that is 172.16.20.138. Subnet mask of 255.255.128. The default gateway is going to be this guy right here, which was G01, which should be 172.16.20.129. Close out of that, and now PC2 should be able to communicate up to here. We put our mouse over top of that, you'll get that. Sometimes we put our mouse over top here, it'll tell us what we have going on here as well. Okay. If I want to see what my interfaces are just to confirm them, okay, I can exit all the way back to my privileged exec prompt and I can do a show IP. Show IP interface. And now I just want a brief one, so I'm going to say brief. And you'll see that I made 172.16.20.1, 20.129, and I did a 209.165.200.225, and I can compare those numbers with the numbers that are on the table. And I can look at that and say, okay, they're good. I can also look and say that they're up, okay, they're programmed and they're up. So I did that side of the router correctly. Now I need to go over here to this side of my network and program this one. Now this one is going to be just a little bit different because as you can see, this side of the network uses IP version 6. So we're going to program this one with using IP version 6, which is just a little bit different, and it's a good lesson for us to learn because eventually this is where we're going to be, and this is the part of the routing world that you all need to embrace because we're all going to be doing this all the time someday. Maybe not me, but definitely you guys. So let's just go in class. It's going to get you into the system. And I want to get into my config T or configure terminal. You can do config T for short. And the first interface I want to program is interface G0/0. Now instead of doing IP add, I have to do an IP version 6 add. One second here, I have to. Okay, I'm back. And I do an IP v6 address. And here, we don't pair the subnet mask, we just have to put in our address. And in this case, G00 is 2001 colon DB8. Oh, did I do it right? Yep, colon. And then it's C0DE colon 12 colon colon 1/64. Now, if I were to explain that to you, these first four numbers right here, these what we call blocks, okay, this is our global address here, and then these two right here, or three right here, are signifying the ISP in the region, and then we have our own network right here, the fourth one. That's that's your subnet, and then the colon colon means that it's going to be all zeros and then the 1, and it's a 64-bit prefix. We choose enter, and then just do a no shutdown on that, and now that interface just came up, nice and easy. Okay, so now we're going to go into the interface of G0/1. Same thing, we're going to do IP v6 address. Okay, you notice I abbreviated that, so I didn't like it. So we're going to do IP v. Oh, because I didn't put the rest of the command in. Add, and then it's going to be again 2001 DB8 code, and it's going to be a 13. So I'm just going to hit my up arrow just like that. Brought those commands back and put 13 in there, and it's a /1. So that one's in. Do a no shut. Hit enter. Now I want to get into my interface of my S0/0/1. Oh, my bad. Interface S0/0/1. Then I'm going to do my IP add again. And instead of 13, this one's going to be 11. Do a no shutdown. Close out of that. I'm going to go to PC3, and I'm going to configure PC3 desktop IP configuration. And that one is going to be 2001 DB8 code 12, and it's going to be, the unique address is going to be A. So we're going to do 2001 colon DB8 colon C0DE colon 12 colon colon A. Oh, my bad. I need to be IPv6. Let me get that out of there. And put that in here. Control V. And the slash goes over here at 64. The gateway is going to be the .1. And let's see if it likes that one or not. It looks like it did. Okay. So you'll see PC3 is now up. We're going to go over to PC4. We're going to program that one. Make sure you're down here in IPv6. Don't make my mistakes. This one is going to be 13 instead of 12. And also going to be a /64. The gateway is going to be the same as it was over there, but it's going to be a 13. It's not going to be A though, it's just going to be a 1. And now that one is also good to go. So the only thing I think I missed on this was right here on the interface for S0001. It says it wants an FE80::2. So that's what I'm guessing because it doesn't have anything labeled there. So we're just going to do an IP add FE80::2. Let's see what it gives me there. Input detected. It didn't like something there. Oh, it's IPv6. That's why. My bad. Let me troubleshoot my error here. Just hang tight. Okay, so it looks like I just needed to type link dash local. There it was. Okay. The link local address allows your computer to communicate just internally. So I have an outside address that the outside world can see, then I have an inside address to communicate securely and safely with my internal network over here. So this has a link local address over here. All right, so that is how we do the lab to configure your router. Hopefully that helped everybody out, and I will be around to listen to any questions. I gave you guys plenty of time to get this one done. Okay, I'm going to close this out, and we're good to go. Did want to add one final point to finishing up this lab. You still have to do the ping. You still have to ping PC1 and PC2 and show connectivity. So you should be able to ping each other, and you should be able to ping the dual stack server over here to verify your connectivity. And same thing on PC3 and PC4. You need to be able to ping each other on a dual stack server. So if we were to go and take a look at, say, my grade on this, you'll see that I only have a 96%. Now, for some of you, 96% is great, but not me. So what you do is you hit check results, okay, and then it'll say I didn't complete the activity. So I take a look at my activity, and it's okay. I have an incorrect. Oh, looks like I have an incorrect IPv6 gateway on one of my ports on both my PC3 and PC4. So I didn't set that up correctly. So I'm going to want to go back and make sure that my gateway is right on those. And then everything will be fine there. So hang tight, and I will show you how to make sure those are right. Okay, so now if you remember correctly, earlier I said that we put that FE80::2, which is a link local address, we put that on the router so that our internal computers know how to communicate internally. Well, if we look here, this address right here is internal. Okay, so in order for me to be able to communicate to this router, these guys are going to have an FE80 address. So what I want to do is I want to say go here to PC4. I want to take this out, and let's try doing FE80::. Oh, I've got too much stuff. Okay, ::2 in there, and let's see how that holds up. So now internally I should be able to communicate to the dual stack server in here, because FE80 really is the same as 2001 DB8 C0DE: 11, right? So I should be able to communicate to this guy, okay, because he's : 12. So let's take a look to see how we scored now. And here. and you'll see now I got everything correct. So if I go and I check my results, you'll see that I got my address correctly in there because I made it FB80 ::2. So that's why we had to put that last piece in there. So hopefully that gets everybody done. And now you should be able to do your lab and understand why we typed in what we did.